and record. Welcome everybody to our Texas Power Up. We've got 79 people on, and that's exciting. It's the last one of the year. We started these during COVID, and what a great idea, Sarissa and Jordan and Laura, who brought this to us. It was great. Before we start, let's go ahead and go over Texas numbers. I know about half of you guys track this stuff, and the other half of you tune me out. Whatever you do, don't care. 78 agents in Texas right now within the Kinney team in DFW, in Midland, in Austin, Dripping Springs, San Antonio, and your Davis team in DFW. So 40% of you guys have been here at least 2 years. That's exciting. I love to see that. 860 closed units so far this year, and there is like a ton of them closing the last 2 weeks. What that means for you guys on your appointments and things like that is we sell a house every 10 hours around here, every 10 hours, every day, every 10 hours. There's only 6 teams right now, you guys, in Texas that sell more houses. I just want you guys to know like how well you're doing. In a few years, we'll look up and we will not just be number one in each of our individual cities and areas that we serve, but collectively, it's just going to be a Texas takeover. 253 million in sales volume you guys have closed so far. And the story there, you guys, is when we started tracking this 6 months ago, our average price point was 240,000. And the average price point today is 295,000. So not only are you guys working hard, you're also working smart, getting those luxury listings. Closed GCI, $6.9 million in closed GCI. What that means for you is that's like $3.5 million paid back to our agents. That's building wealth. That's something that nobody else can say. Their agents are making that kind of money. $60 million in pending volume. What that tells us is no one's slowing down and your businesses are continuing to grow. We have 129 listings right now in Texas. And I love that because Ben always says, say the right thing, say it enough times, have enough people to say it to, so that you can master leads, you can master listings, and then you can master leverage. So we've got Ben this morning as long as he wants to hang out with us. I was telling everybody, if you would have told us 10 p.m. at night, we would have showed up at 10 p.m. at night. So it's all yours to chat with us however you want. And thanks for wrapping up the year with us.
You're welcome. I do hate being spotlighted, but I will take it. Adelina, that's okay. I will do it if that's what you want.
Gallery? Can you see everybody?
I do love gallery. Gallery is really nice. I can see everybody. I can see Kyle and Kara and Chris and Yvette and Robbie and Allie and Jordan. Robbie, are you like the honorary Texas person today? You're kind of Texas. You're almost Texas.
Yeah, I'm pretty much on any Zoom call that Place does. So wherever you are, wherever Adelina is, wherever Chris is, I'm probably there. Jolene, I just follow you guys around. It's a cheer section over here in Tennessee.
Yeah, I love that. You know, Adelina, those numbers are pretty they're pretty incredible. They're pretty impressive because about 5 years ago, that number was 1 in May. It was just one sale, that from 0 to Adelina to 860 closes a group. And I think what's unique about that number is when you walk into a presentation, think of me as like your unifying person. So when you walk into a presentation, you say, my partner Ben and I, we've sold over 860 properties across Texas this year alone. And what that means to you is that nobody has more marketing, more resources, and a better plan to sell homes faster than we do. Now, we're not bragging, we're applying for a job. Does that make sense to everybody? It's the fact that we're all connected, that you don't get to walk in and say, hey, I'm a brand new agent, or I've sold 20, or I've sold 40, or so. No, Ben and I and our partner, Jordan or Adelina or Sarissa or Laura, whoever your partner is, right? We sold over 860 homes across Texas this year. I want you guys to think about that. We're not an individual lone sniper in the world. We're an army that's marching forward. But today, what I would love to do is I'd love for you to type a couple of questions into the chat. And if you walked away from any time with me today, what would it be? Like if you walked away with one message, Casey, Maria, Kyle, Daniel, what would it be? Like, well, what's going through your minds right now? And I'm going to talk to you about a few other things that's going through my mind um, along that journey. So do me a favor, jump in chat. Don't be shy. I'm just giving you guys a second to do as I asked. I'm watching you, DJ. You better be freaking typing. Daniel, thank you for being the first one to type in there. He said, how do we best head into 2021? Casey said, if you're going to look for off-market inventory, how would you go about finding it? Samantha says, what do you think our number one focus should be for 2021? Who else? 3 of them. 3 out of 79, Adelina. We're the number one producing team in Texas, but we're also the shyest. Oh, what did you learn from 2020? How do we increase listings? Okay, keep typing these in there. Here's what I want you to think about. Do you all remember in March when I did an all company call before Inman was talking about COVID, before Gary Keller, before Keller Williams, before NAR, before anybody else was? And I sat you all down and I looked you in the eye and I said, ladies and gentlemen, this is not a snow day. This is going to last. It's going to last, and it's going to last. Many of us will get sick, right? This will decimate many parts of the economy, and this will be a season of our lives. And I just had a feeling in my gut, Casey, that this was going to last for a while. And because of that, we wanted everybody to prepare. We wanted people to double down on your activities, cut your personal expenses, focus on converting leads, show up when nobody else is. And I begged you all to do that. How many of you had the best year financially or in production wise of your life? Type into chat and just answer me. It's because how we respond to crisis. It's because when things get tough, what do we do personally? And if you're one of the people that's saying, that's me, I freaking killed it this year in the weirdest year, zombies and shit walking everywhere. Like I killed it during The Walking Dead season 44 called 2020. That's what happened to me. It's because you did the right thing, Caitlin. We showed up when other people weren't going to show up. And I think that's really, really important because we're not out of the storm, DJ. We have a while to go. Most likely, we'll have lockdowns again, and we're going to have a lot of businesses lose in general, if not close. And we're going to be dealing with vaccines getting out to people for the next 9 to 12 months. So if you guys have some sense of optimism that the world's going back to normal in January, February, and it's going to be martinis on the rooftops in Dallas, it's not happening. It's not going to happen. Now, what's the good news with that? Well, Jordan, people are sitting at home right now. I used to say making babies, but that turns out not to be true. There isn't enough babies happening right now for some reason, right? So they must be watching Netflix instead of making babies. They're sitting around watching Netflix, thinking about making babies, and they're searching for real estate. And we know that because real estate is having an incredible year. There's a few driving forces with that, Allie. Number one, there's low inventory. With a lack of choices, it creates demand. It also pushes prices up. Interest rates, all-time low. It makes homes more affordable than they ever have been. If you can find a way right now to buy a home, buy a home. It's the lowest interest rates you'll probably ever see in your entire life. Buy a home. Don't ever sell a home because it's the lowest interest rates you're ever going to have on real estate. Just buy a home. When you're done, go buy another one. You find an investment and you need money, call me, call Adelina, call Jordan, call Sarissa, call Laura, right? We'll buy it with you. I'm all in. Well, what else is driving this crazy real estate market? I think in general, the world's changing. The world's changing. People no longer have to work in their offices. People hate not working in their offices, by the way, because they know they're more productive than having 17 kids climbing on top of themselves and Oprah playing in the background. But they don't have to do that. Because of that, they're able to live in towns and areas that they had never been able to work in or live in before, because the commute is no longer an issue. That's going to make the outskirts of Austin and the outskirts of Dallas. Midland is the outskirts, by the way. So it's going to make all of those areas more attractive to people that say, you know what, I'm tired of this. This place is just too weird for me. Austin used to paint. Austin is weird. It's for sure weird. Now it's a little bit too weird for some people. So they're going just an extra 15 minutes out. In 2021, I expect the next 6 months to have prices continue to increase because rates are low and inventory is low, and demand to be medium, not as high as we've seen. And then the summer, all bets are off. We don't really know what's going to happen in the summer and fall because we don't truly know the impacts of this economy, the layoffs and everything else. So what do you do right now to make sure that you have the best 2021, the best year of your career in 2021? You just double down on your activities. Like you can take the holidays off and take the next 2 weeks off. But what that means is that means January, February, and the start of March is going to suck. So that's up to you. But when it comes February, March, and you're broke or you're having a hard time or you feel like nothing's working, I want you to remember that's because of what you're doing today. There's a 60 to 90 day lag between your appointments, your activities, and your results that happen when you take your foot off the gas now. So enjoy the holidays, take a couple days, spend time with family. But when you have free time, double down. Reach out to people, because all the other real estate agents in the world right now are taking the holidays off. That is your competitive advantage. They're going to be getting less calls, less people reaching out. They're all locked up at home doing nothing. They want to go look at real estate, right? Give them a reason to do that. I've had some of my best showings and appointment setting from the 26th to the 1st of January. Killed it for years. And because of that, January is always a good month for me personally. So I want you to think about that. Okay. What's going through your minds right now? Anybody? Adelina?
Okay, so I know the thing that I keep seeing over and over in the chat is, like, I know right now we should be doubling down because it is an unfair advantage. How do you balance that with needing to, like, just, we talk about like this being these like corporate athletes, like what should we be doing to not fall apart, for lack of better words?
Oh, I love that question. Here's the thing. If you feel exhausted, if you feel burned out right now, if you feel like you've been going at 100 miles an hour, just stopping and taking a break is not going to fix it. All that's going to happen is you're going to take a break, you're going to come back, and you're still going to be exhausted. You're still going to be burned out in just a week or two later. Long-term sustainability is not about taking 2 weeks off a year and then trying to feel refreshed. It's about going at the right pace, taking little breaks every day, taking time with your kids or your family on Thursday to go do something fun, taking a day off every once in a while and doing that, making sure you use your free time really well, but keeping consistent. When you work 7 days a week with no breaks and you aren't sleeping and you aren't taking care of your health and your other stuff, you're going to feel burnt out. So the solution is not taking 2 weeks off. The solution is finding a sustainable pace, Veronica, for 2021. That's 15-minute breaks 3 or 4 times a day. That's taking a date night or 2 every week. It's scheduling time with your kids. It's doing something fun. And then plan those fun trips throughout the year, which are evenly spaced, that give you memories and experiences, but they don't recharge you. It's a myth that vacations give you your energy back. It's just not true, right? It's just a mental break, which we all need. I'm more concerned, Valencia, about you coming up with a long-term strategy to keep your amazing pace. Does that make sense, Adeline?
Yeah, I love that. If anybody's got any follow-up questions to that, like feel free to unmute yourself. I'd love to have a conversation on that. As we're thinking about that, what do you think should be our focus in 2021? Like if you were coaching us individually, what would be the things that you would want us to look at for 2021?
Yeah, that's a great question. You know, if you think about your life, yourself, your person, you're a chair, and the chair you're sitting on probably has 4 legs. So what are those different pillars that's going to make next year awesome? One is your health, your sanity, your brains, your as I call it, your energy. So you got to have an energy plan for 2021. Number 2, your business, your career. You got to have a business and a career plan. What are you going to do? What are your activities? What do you need to improve on? We'll talk about that a little bit. You need to have a financial plan. What is your financial plan? What are you going to do to financially get ahead in 2021? And you need to have a plan for that. And then the 4th leg is your relationships, your faith, your personal goals, your hobbies. You need to have something other than work and working out and money. Otherwise, it's a really unfulfilling life. Remember, life is about creating memories and having experiences. Problem is we have to pay for them, and we got to be able to afford them, and we got to be able to have the time to do it and all that kind of stuff. So all these things work together. How many of you, just wave at me if you have your camera on. If you don't have a camera on, I'll mail you a camera for Christmas. How many of you have listened to the Win, Make, Give podcast? Okay, vast majority. Thank you very much. I really appreciate that. I hope you guys got some takeaways. Maybe type into the chat and tell me what your favorite episode was or what you enjoyed the most. Most of you have taken the Wealth series, I assume, or I really hope that you take the time to do it over the holidays. It'd be really impactful. Win, Make, Give is going to continue. We're launching series 2 in January. It is going to be 100% focused on one word, winning. We're taking out the wealth and the health and everything. It's about studying winners, learning tactics to win, and studying businesses that have won. And we're going to become really, really focused on winning. That's what that podcast is going to be about. We're going to interview some of the biggest and best leaders in the world, and we're going to study and talk about some of the greats. Walt Disney, the founder of Walmart. We're going to just focus on winning. So some of you are thinking, well, what about the money and what about the health? Here's what's cool. Jolene and Chad are launching what I call my 15-point plan podcast in January. Once a week, you're going to have an episode about health focused on the 15 different things that you can do to maintain your energy. That's one of the legs to the stool. I have this thing called a 15-point plan. You should all get access to it and see it. We can get a podcast over to you on my first intro into it. But every week we're going to dive into one of the 15 points: sleeping, nutrition, health, mindset, gratitude. We're going to teach you how to increase and maintain energy in the long term. And then we're launching a strictly investing in money podcast called 22% Richer. So every week you're going to have one episode minimum from each one of those 3 things. They're going to be 15 to 20 minutes long. You can listen to them on your way in, but focusing on those 3 of your 4 chairs next year: your energy, your wealth, and winning in business and in leadership. And that'll start equipping you for next year. Yeah, and Adelina, good comment. It's content for our sphere and building our network, right? I hope many of you guys had your friends and family go through the Wealth series this year.
Ben?
Yes.
How can we best support you and place at our local level? I think a lot of agents are really grateful for the content that you provide in the leadership. How can we best support you?
Yeah, here's this thing is that we have this thought that place is this umbrella that sits over you guys. Here's what one thing for us to think about. You are place. You are what makes up this company. So let's talk a little bit about what that is. Yesterday, Chris and I wired nearly $3 million to buy place.com, the domain name that will house our real estate. None of our other teams or agents know this yet. It'll house our email. It'll house our national search site, which will be like Redfin or a Compass Experience. All of his thing is getting built under this one domain. I don't know if anybody in real estate's ever paid $3 million for a domain name, but we did yesterday. I negotiated for that domain name for 9 months. Gosh, I could have had a baby Adelina in that time. 9 months. 9 months I negotiated with this guy. This guy paid $550,000 for place.com a few years ago, and I had to talk him into selling it. Some rich investment banker from Dubai. But it's actually in my domain account this morning. They received the funds. The domain's been transferred. So pretty soon you guys are going to hear some really exciting announcement. But here's why I'm bringing that up. Thank you, Samantha, for the golf clap. Love that. Here's why I'm bringing it up. Would I spend $3 million on a domain name if I considered us a real estate team? Would I spend $3 million on a domain name if I thought we were going to build something small? No, our vision is for Place to become a publicly traded company or something similar to that we all have ownership in, that allows us to compete in all areas, iBuyers, better loan programs, mortgage and title in every market, discounted insurance for our customers, all of these things combined. And then you all will be carrying the Place business card. Place will be a place for real estate agents where they get to start their careers and they never have to leave. Why do people leave most businesses? Well, they want a better deal, or they want something different, or they're burnt out, or their careers aren't growing, or they feel financially they're in the same spot. So Place has to be somewhere where you all build wealth and build your business and still have an amazing life. So one of the focuses for 2021 should be, how many different areas am I building wealth in? Am I getting my real estate business going and strong so it has a consistent income? Am I buying my first property or my second investment, or am I making investments? Am I invested in some of the opportunities that we're going to make available for all of you, title companies and mortgage and commercial buildings, those sort of things? Am I putting money into my retirement account? Am I putting money into a Robinhood account every paycheck or every month so I can start buying stocks? Sarissa, I had the weirdest dream about you and Andrew last night. Andrew called me last night and he wanted to invest in this company that sells this orange soda, but they're made in like the North Pole by where there's polar bears. And he had a really good idea and he negotiated a really good deal. And I don't know why, but he called me and he wanted to talk about this amazing new drink company that you guys are going to buy. So I don't know if that's real, if I made it up, but it was super weird. So thank you, Andrew, for stalking my dreams last night.
Yeah, he's talking about you. Yeah, he said, I'll tell him. Cool.
Yeah. So if we aren't building a wealth along this journey, what is it all for? We might as well go get a freaking job or something, right? Work less, go drive Uber or something, just work on your own schedule. If you aren't going to really take this as an opportunity to take your life to the next level, then maybe this isn't the right place for you. The right place, this should be somewhere where you say, no, I'm going to improve my life. I say to my people, the scariest point is not what we're going through today. Farah, it's waking up in 5 years and realizing that you're in the same spot. That's the scariest thing that I could ever imagine. I want you to think about that. Scary is not where you're at today, Judy. It's being in the same freaking spot in 5 years. That's scary. Being in the same crappy relationships, same bad friendships, or the same financial situation and the same level of health, same burnout, same energy, same amount of debt. Like there's all these things like, no, let's get rid of the same. We don't want the same. Like we work way too hard to have the same for the next 3, 4, 5 years. That doesn't make any sense. Something for you all to think about. So Jordan, you asked a good question. How can you guys support me? Place will be successful and you guys will all be stockholders of a very, very successful company if we all succeed in our own goals in 2021. Remember that Place is just a summation of all of your individual production. Place is the summation of us using these ancillary services like our mortgage and title and escrow and insurance as they get launched and get refined and they get improved. Place will be successful if you guys utilize and leverage our technology. Like, we have to convince the world that we're not just a crappy real estate company, that we're a tech company that provides services to homeowners, where the homeowners can get everything they need for their world all in the same exact place. Our utilization of our tech products are really important. You have to become a master of it. You have to learn to love Brivity, and you have to learn the new features, and you have to participate in our happy hours, and you have to really understand all the things that we're doing, because we're launching so many new things. Last night at happy hour, by the way, every Wednesday at 4 o'clock, for, I don't know if anybody here was on the call, we announced beta access to the Brivity Home mobile app for anybody to try. We announced beta access to the new Facebook ad tool that anybody could use to run ads for their own particular listings. We talked about beta access for the new people page. How many of you all have the new people page turned on? Just wave at me in Brivity. That's how I know if you've logged in recently. Okay, that's awesome. Hope you guys love that. Our team worked really hard on it. That's just one of the small improvements. So Jordan, Chris Suarez said to me quite a while ago, he said, I brought in this agent, and 6 months later, the agent was doing about the same amount of business. And he went to his admin and said, I just don't know what I'm doing. And the assistant looked at the agent and said, you're not doing anything different. Like, you bought the t-shirt. You're like, you decided to go work with Ben and Chris, and you bought the t-shirt. It's time to wear it. Like, the person bought into the model, but they weren't doing the model. And because they weren't doing the model, they weren't getting the results. Well, when this person started following the model, he went from closing 1 or 2 a month to closing 6 a month, individual agent, right? When you follow the plan, things happen. Adelina, what else are you thinking? Or questions in chat, so I'm not scrolling through all of them.
Well, I love what you just said about following the plan and all of that. So 2 things came to mind as soon as you said it. Number 1, you know, we have a lot of new agents, and they're in the honeymoon period, and they're just like, anything you say they're doing, right? And then we have like that weird period where it's like, we've been here 6 months to like maybe 5 years or whatever. And it's like, I mean, we're doing it, right? But we keep hitting the same ceilings. So can you talk about maybe the leverage model as you see it, what you would be doing if you were us? Like, some of us who kind of like believe our own hype now. And I'm like, I can say that because like I've been that person who believes my own hype. But like, how do we break through the next ceilings in our life to create a business that you envision that we could have?
Would it be okay if I just shared a couple of slides that I shared with you guys on?
That'd be awesome.
On Monday. I'm not going to go all the way through it, but I want to talk a little bit about the leverage model, because I think it's valuable. 1 second. Really, what has made us so successful is that we create models for everything. We put names on it, and we share it, and we all speak the same language. Our energy model for 2021 is the 15-point plan. If you do those 15 things every day, you're going to be healthier, happier, skinnier, more energy, better mindset. You're not going to burn out. If you do 6 of the 15, you're going to have a mediocre to miserable, unhealthy, unhappy, low energy, burnt out life. You know, if you average 10 to 13, you're going to be doing pretty good. I try to hit 12 to 15 every single day. It's called my 15-point plan. In our real estate business, when you start out, you learn about our lead gen model, where we get our business from, work in your sphere, doing the open houses, door knocking, prospecting, following up with our internet leads and leads from our listings. That's 80% of the business of Place. Is just those five buckets. It has a name, it has a plan, and we create processes for each one of those. A sphere plan, we call it the sphere in gear, right? We have our open house plans and our open house scripts, things like people come to my open houses for 1 or 2 reasons. 1, they're curious what their own home is worth because they're thinking about selling, or 2, they're thinking about buying. Which one are you? We write a very great script for our sphere. Hey, just out of curiosity, Adelina, what are your real estate related plans for the year? Well, what do you mean? No, I just, I have a lot of friends that all the chaos in the world right now is causing them to think about maybe buying, selling, or investing in real estate. I just want to see if you had any of those plans next year. It's not a salesy, pushy comment, Teresa. It's just a gentle, Jolene, just approach is just simply ask somebody, just out of curiosity, Jennifer, what are your real estate related plans for the year? Have you guys thought about buying, selling, or investing in real estate? Right? Hey, people call on my for sale sign on that property, usually for one of two reasons. One, they're a neighbor and they're curious what their home is worth because they're thinking about selling too. Or two, they're thinking about buying because they want to live in that neighborhood. Which one are you? Like, we create these little processes and scripts for everything that we do. Now it's up to you to do it, to master it, and be able to have those words come out of your mouth as smoothly as they do for me. And you hear my language, it doesn't sound as salesy because I've said it for 15, 16, 17 years straight to thousands of people. And they see me as sincere, right? As a real person that wants to help them. Anyway, that's an example of one of our models or systems. A new one that you all heard about this year was our opportunity plan. Our opportunity plan is how do agents get access to healthcare? Any agent on this call that closes 25 transactions in 2021, we're going to write a check for your healthcare. And it's not shitty healthcare. It's the best freaking healthcare that I could find with the most protection, the best deductibles, the best access for prescriptions and everything else. It's better than most people's spouses were getting at their own companies. And I created a way for you all to have access for your children and for your spouses and partners, even if they had a pre-existing condition like cancer. Nobody in the real estate industry has done that unless you want to go work for a shitty Redfin and get paid a couple of dollars and be an employee. But nobody's said that you could be a business owner and have a really big income and get access to healthcare. Other people aren't creating stock options and stock plans and ways for you to invest and offering financial planning, allowing revenue shares so that you all can make 30 to 50,000 a year by simply referring people to work for one of our teams in Texas or anywhere in the US and Canada. These are all benefits that are in the opportunity plan. But what I want you to know, these are all things that Laura and Sarissa and Jordan and Robbie and Adelina agreed to pay half of. Adelina covers half of your healthcare, just like I cover half of the healthcare, and Jordan covers half of the healthcare, and Sarissa covers half of the revenue share, and Laura covers half of the revenue share. And these are all expenses that we said we're willing to make less money next year so that our agents have a bigger opportunity, a better life. They're more protected, right? And this becomes a long-term place for them. That's what we call our opportunity plan. And the opportunity plan, I think it's phenomenal. You're going to continue to hear more. We're going to continue to add more benefits to it. So let's talk about the third model in there. And the third model is the leverage plan. So I'm going to just share my screen for a few minutes, and we're just going to talk about leverage. When you get into real estate, you get access to leverage by working with our team. And that leverage is going to get you to a certain level. Most likely, that's going to get you to consistently close 2 to 4 transactions per month. But at some point, unless you're a freak anomaly like Gail or a couple of the other top people on the call here, you're going to run into a ceiling where you just run out of hours in the day to get things done. And the only way to surpass that is to understand leverage. So what is leverage? The dictionary defines leverage as to use something to maximize to its advantage. That's something that each one of you need to use, Joe Garza, is maximizing your time. Leverage is about improving your hourly rate. Write that down. I care about my hourly rate. Just think about that. Write it down. Write it down every day. Write it down 10 times a day. Just, you guys like tattoos? Get it on your arm. Yeah, I care about my hourly rate, right? Then every time somebody's trying to negotiate your commission, you just show them your arm and say, no, I care about my hourly rate. Hopefully it's not as pale as my arm so they could actually see the tattoo. But do you care, Jonathan Hand, about your hourly rate, right? Or do you want to make more money next year and work twice the amount of hours? That's called a reduction in pay, right? We don't do that, DJ. We want to make more money per hour. Now, why do people struggle with leverage? Is they confuse leverage with luxury. Luxury, Brandon, is when you replace some of those hours, like you have somebody do something for you, and then you use that time to go to the pool, to go for a hike, to sleep in, to watch the Tiger King or the Queen's Gambit, which I highly recommend on Netflix right now, solid show. You use all that to do more fun stuff. That's what we call luxury. That's not leverage. Leverage is when you have somebody help you and you use that newfound time to generate more listings, more pendings, to lead generate, to set more appointments, to increase your hourly rate. That is what the leverage model is about. Are you willing to go out there and replace your low per hour activities, low dollar per hour activities, with something more productive that's going to help you grow your business? When people fail with the leverage model, they bring an assistant in or they bring in a showing agent in, their business doesn't increase because they didn't use the extra 40 hours they got in the week to generate twice the amount of appointments. You'll always fail if you think of the leverage model as that path. Every real estate professional hits a ceiling of achievement. The question is, what are we going to do about it? Every single one of us hits ceilings. And I should feel all the bumps on my head. I freaking run into ceilings all the time. I just run into them. I run into them. And then I finally get frustrated and I do something about it and I break through. And then I run into another one. And I run into another one. And I run into another one, because success is not like this. Success is like this, right? That's what real success looks like. The question is, when it starts going down, are you going to quit on yourself? You're going to say, no, this is too hard. I'm going to go back and tell people 30 years later, I used to do real estate. I remember I used to work with Adelina and Maria and Brandon and Casey and Leah and Pepper and Farah and Teresa and Dwayne. They're super rich right now, super happy. They don't work that much. They built an amazing life. Me, I work at the Walmarts because I quit on myself. There's two secrets to success. Secret one, success happens, Gus, when priorities happen in the right order. Success doesn't happen when you work on a whole bunch of priorities. Success happens when you take one priority and you get it done, and then you do the next one. Here'd be a good example. Somebody makes a commitment that I'm going to go master the listing presentation, and they spend the next year memorizing the listing presentation, but they never have a listing appointment. That would actually be in the wrong order. You don't need the listing presentation if you don't have any listing appointments. You don't need to know how to write a contract if you don't have anybody to write a contract for. These are all things we can help you with. Jennifer will go on a listing appointment with you. She's ready. She's ready. If you get a listing appointment, one of us will go help you with it. I'll zoom in there. I don't care. We're ready. What is the big priorities? The priorities is teeing up business so that you have listing appointments to go on, and you have buyer consults to do, and you have people to show. That's the first priority. Once you get one, you say, oh shit, now I need to learn a listing presentation. You go figure it out. So you chip away at it. Success happens when priorities happen in the right order. Secret number two, more hours will not equate to more success. Implementing leverage is what leads to more success. I can give you examples of a lot of real estate agents that are extremely successful. They have been for the last 40 years. They're 74 years old and they're still showing homes. Why? Because they have to. Nobody else will do it. They never built a business, and they have no wealth because they spent every dollar they made. That's not success. Success is each one of you waking up, Daniel, and saying, I have the opportunity to build a business within this business. As long as I implement leverage. Implementing leverage is what leads to more success. So let's talk about the leverage model. The goal of the leverage model is to increase both your life so that you have time to create memories and have experiences, to take those vacations, to enjoy the world, and your income, right? You can't just enjoy life and then realize in 5 years that now you got to go work for the rest of your life because you took your foot off the gas, right? And you can't just make a ton of money and have no relationships and have no experiences and have no health and have no memories. That's lame, right? Life is about having both. How do we increase our income and increase our life? And you do that by increasing your hourly rate. So what's the leverage model? The leverage model that I want to talk about today is really the first two levels. The first two levels says that if you come in and you're able to close 1 to 2 transactions a month, that you're going to be outperforming most real estate professionals in the industry. The vast majority of real estate professionals generate transactions without any type of leverage. But that's also why a brand new agent sells 3 homes their first year, and an agent with 10 years experience sold 12. 10 years experience. You've been freaking out there busting your butt for 10 years, right? No matter what brokerage you work at, the average agent with 10 years experience sells 10 to 12 homes. That sucks. Place provides massive amounts of leverage for us to achieve our goals in level 1. Examples: we provide you the technology, the dialers, leads to work, training, coaching, access to Adelina and Laura and Sarissa and Jordan and Karen, to our systems, to coaching, to marketing for your listings and for yourself, to administrative and transaction support, to our VAs, to all these different services. That is leverage. That's leverage that every individual agent at Keller Williams or any other company has none of. They have to go pay for it themselves, or they have to do it themselves, which is why their hourly rate sucks. And they run into a ceiling because they can't do it. So the first goal when you're in our business is, how do you leverage all the tools that are there so that you can outperform all the average agents in the market and go from closing 1 to 2 transactions a month to the next level. The goal in level 1 is to build a consistent and predictable business and income. If you are consistently closing 2 transactions a month with Place, you're making more than most of the doctors, most of the nurses, the firefighters, the police officers, 2 teachers combined, unfortunately, people digging ditches, right? People managing stores, executives at a lot of companies. You're making a 6-figure income and you're living a great life. And that's okay if that's where you're happy. But if you want to take it to the next level, I would love that, because I want you to have a big life. 24 transactions, average $300,000 price point. You should make $108,000 before minor expenses, your cell phone bill, whatever little cap you paid at Keller Williams, and your MLS dues, gas, sandwiches, whatever you buy every day at lunch, those sort of things. $108,000. Now that's if your price is $300,000. If you're in Bala, Dallas, or in the Beverly Hills of Texas, Austin, then your price point could actually be much, much higher, and you could really outperform that. But first thing I want you to think about is $100,000 is a lot of freaking money. A lot of people work their ass off and they never hit that. I got a lot of employees at Brivity in our companies, and managers and people that work for me for years that don't make that type of income because they chose not to be in a sales and a production based position. But you all have chosen sales, and that's where the biggest upside is. So level 2 is 3 to 4 transactions a month. Everybody on this call should be striving to close 3 to 4 transactions a month. I want you to think about that. It's the gateway to unlock your ability to invest, to buy more real estate, to put money into your retirement account, to pay off your debt, and it's the gateway into implementing leverage into your business. Once again, the focus to increase your hourly rate. Have you guys heard that term a couple times today? Increase your hourly rate. I care about my hourly rate. Andrea, we're going to get the tattoo. It's going to be matching, you and me. It's going to say, I care about my hourly rate right here. Gus, you can get one too if you want. That'd be sweet. The goal of level 2 is to increase your hourly rate through adding of a showing agent. When you're consistently closing 3 to 4 transactions a month, you have the ability to support an additional person in your business. And you could wake up and you could have a team within our team. And that's what I want you to have, because it'll increase your life and increase your income. In a normal buyer transaction, this is how I equate it. In my mind, it takes 20 hours to close a buyer transaction. You got 3 hours of lead generation to set an appointment. You got an hour for your buyer consult. You got 10 hours of showings. You're going to go out and show them homes twice or 3 times. You got offer negotiations. You're writing the contract. You're dealing with the other agent. It's an hour. You got inspections and appraisals. That's 4 hours, letting people in, shuffling paperwork, waiting for the inspector to get done, all that kind of stuff, talking to lenders, dealing with title and escrow, all those sort of things, right? And then you got your closing appointment, handing people the keys, letting them into the house, giving them the high five, asking for the referral, going to the closing table. If you guys do that, that's 20 hours. Now, some transactions, I understand they're going to take you a few more hours, but some are going to be a slam dunk. You're going to show them one house and you're going to get done. So in my mind, the average is 20 hours, which means if you're working full time and you spend half of your time screwing off or working on your business or learning stuff or that sort of stuff, you should be able to close 4 per month, because you'd spend 20 hours monkeying around and 20 hours being productive, getting your deals closed, right? You work 4 weeks in a month, that's 4 closings. That shouldn't be hard. This is why people like Gail can close 79 in their first year working on the team, because she understood it only took that amount of hours and she knew that she could close 2 every single week at minimum. Okay, so think about that. Now, if I was to bring in a showing agent, what I would do is, as the agent, I would do the lead generation. Doesn't mean they can't join me and sit beside me and make calls too. I highly encourage that. But I'm going to own the converting the leads, because it's the most important. That's where the money's made, making the calls, sending the text. And then I'm going to do the buyer consult, but I'm going to have my showing agent with me. So I'm still there as the agent. I'm still participating in this. But when it comes time to show, I'm going to say, hey, Adelina, I appreciate you taking the time today to talk about your goals for buying a house. What's exciting is I think it's very, very realistic, and I think we can help you accomplish that goal. I know the area very well. I've identified 5 or 6 properties that I think are the must-sees, half of which you sent me that you were interested in. And I found a couple other ones. I'm going to send you out real quick with Sarissa, and Sarissa is going to go show you a couple homes. While she's doing that, I'm going to be combing the MLS looking for anything I might have missed. And I'm going to be making phone calls, seeing if I can find anything that's not currently on the market in case one of those properties don't work out. When you're done showing, I'm going to give you a call and see how it went. And if one of the questions I'm going to ask you, is there anything of the properties that you saw that you'd like to make an offer on? And if so, we'll talk about the terms and the offer price and so on of the process. If you didn't see any, I'm going to spend some time asking you about what we could have done better. Do you still like that area? Should we up or reduce the price point? Is there something I need to be aware of so we aren't looking at the wrong type of homes? And I'm going to refine it and find the next group of homes that we're going to look at later today or the next day or this weekend. Does that seem fair? And then I send them off with my partner, Sarissa, and Sarissa goes, shows them homes, and I stay back. Well, the main agent always works on the offer and the negotiations in the beginning until the showing agent becomes a master, because deals fall apart when your offers don't get accepted. In order to get offer accepted, you have to be good. You got to reach out to the agent and say, hey, Sarissa, I saw that you have that listing. I know you probably have multiple offers coming in. My clients love it. And tell me what I got to do to make sure my clients get it. Just tell me, how much do I got to offer? What's the most important thing to your clients? And just let them talk, and then make a great offer, help your people get it. That's an important part of the process. Inspection and appraisals, I'm going to send my showing partner out to do that. And then at closing, I'm going to go do that. If I have time, ask for referrals, give them a high five. So at the end of the day, when you look at that, think about that. Well, let's add that up. Agent, 2, 3, 4, 5 hours. Showing agent, 10 plus 5, 15 hours. So you get 75% of your time back. 75% of your time back in the transaction. So when you get that 75% of your time back, what do you use it for? You use it to generate more appointments or to focus on getting more listings, other aspects of the business. So you increase your productivity. So let's look at the economics. If you close 36 transactions in a year at half of the average 9,000 commission, you're going to make 162,000, which is basically your net income. It's a lot of freaking money. I got friends in Keller Williams that make $1 million or $2 million a year in GCI that don't net that money at the end of the year. Some of the people you see on stage all the time, they just have really big gross incomes. That's for egos, trophies, leather medals, and awards. All I care about at the end of the year is how much money you guys walk away with, because you can't buy a cheeseburger with an award. And as you guys can tell, I freaking love cheeseburgers. You can't buy a cheeseburger with listings, right? You can't buy a cheeseburger with your gross income. All you can buy a cheeseburger with is how much money you have left over. And that's really important. So that's the economics of selling 36 homes. But let's look at this economics. Remember how I said, if as an individual agent, what we care about is our hourly rate. You take that half a commission, that your side of the transaction, 4,500, divided by the 20 hours. You're making $225 an hour. That's pretty freaking good income. That can lead to a really amazing life. But that also will lead to a limit on your income, Devin, because you only have so many hours to invest every single week or every single month. So you're going to have a ceiling. So let's continue to look at the economics. if you were to bring in a showing agent, you're already closing 36 to 40, 45 transactions a year because you're closing 3 to 4 every month, right? But by bringing in a showing agent, and you could simply increase your transactions to 52. Remember, you're adding an extra 160 hours of work every month because you have leverage for full-time person working every single week, right? And then you get all this free time. You think, how many, just out of curiosity, if you got an extra 40 hours a week, how many more transactions put into chat do you all think that you could do a month? Do you think you could do more than one additional? Maybe 2, Gus, Brenda? Do you think you could do 3 or 4? Rob's a beast. Rob, Lenza, maybe you could do 5. I don't know, right? Now, if the main agent gets 35% of the commission because they hired a showing agent, they're only going to make $31.50 per transaction. But if they could increase it by just 1, they're actually making more money. They're making $163,000 in a year. But here's what's interesting: is you take the $31.50 and you divide it by the 5 hours that the agent worked, they're making $630 an hour on that buyer transaction. Which one's better, $225 or $630? I'm going to sign up for the $630, right? Now, the showing agent, they're getting $13.50 a transaction and an average $300,000 price point. They're making $70,000 a year. Now, just do me a favor, wave at me if you have a friend that's working harder than they should and making less than $70,000 a year. Just if you have a friend, somebody you care about, maybe a family member, sibling, right? We all have somebody making a lot less. But I don't believe that when you add a showing agent, your business is going to go up by a little bit. Because when we first introduced this model for Tamara and Melina, they went from selling 30, 36 homes in a year to selling 60 or 70 in 12 months. So let's look at the economics. Showing agent, by the way, is making $90 an hour. Just for curiosity, if you guys have any friends that would like to make $90 an hour, that you should start talking to them because they could be your showing agent. The main agent's making $630 an hour. If you could increase your income to 62 transactions with a showing agent, you'd make $195,000, which is basically your net income. And the showing agent would make 83. That's awesome. All they're closing is 5 a month. We have agents with no leverage, no assistant, no showing agent that close 5 a month. So I know all of you could do that. Now, if we could get to 72 transactions, just 6 a month, Gus, you got that. Easy breezy, right? You're making $226,000. Showing agents making 97. That's great income. But I want to talk about this. With the showing agent, if you can get your showing agent to be consistently closing 4 transactions a month, and you set enough buyer consults for them to do that, and you use your extra time to go take listings, and you could just take a listing a week that would sell, you keep 50% on the listings, give the buyers to the showing agent gets to go work those. By the way, the more listings you have, the more buyers you're going to have too. So it's going to help the showing agent grow. At 96 units, just the buy side of your business, you're going to make 151,000. The listing side of your business, you're going to make 216. And you're going to make a total income of just 367,000 just in your real estate business. And you're working less hours than you were closing too. You're having a better life. So the next question is, what could you do with 367,000 a year? I mean, you could buy a lot of drugs. You could put a down payment on a boat. You could have some amazing vacations, right? You could interview for the lifestyles of the rich and famous, or you could buy real estate. You could fund your retirement, right? You could buy your second home. You could pay off all your debt. You could take care of your mom and put her in a house that you bought, right? You could do a lot of things that change your world if you start understanding that the path to doing that is building a consistent business and then adding leverage. When you add leverage, you end up with the number one driver in my life. When it was just me in the business, I was willing to let myself down. How many people wave at me? Have you ever let yourself down? Just a few of you. Dwayne, you never let yourself, Dwayne, I know you, I let myself down. So you let yourself down, right? I let myself down lots of ways. I'm like, I'm not going to work out today. I let myself down because I've ate an ice cream bar in the frickin' bathroom because I didn't want anybody to see it. I let myself down because I've bought cheeseburgers and threw away the wrapper at a gas station so nobody saw that I just went to McDonald's for a cheeseburger. I let myself down, Akasha, in so many different ways, it's actually ridiculous. But what I don't do often is I don't let other people down. Adelina holds me to a high standard and I have to show up, right? Sarissa holds me to a high standard and I have to show up. Laura forces me, I have to show up. I made promises to everybody and I'm a promise keeper. When you bring in leverage, you no longer have the ability to take your foot off the gas because somebody else is counting on you. And it forced me to become a person that I never was. I'm so much more committed and productive now because I get on a call like this and I say, hey, I'm going to build this thing called Place and you're all going to be owners of it. And we're all going to get super rich, like Lifestyles the Rich or Famous Rich, right? We're going to have the boat, right? Daniel and Brandon and I, we're going to park our boats next to each other. We're going to do like a Trump parade in friggin' Lake Travis. I saw that on TV, but it's not going to be a Trump parade. It's going to be a Place parade. It's going to be crazy. We're all going to have boats, but only if we keep our promises that you make to me and to our partners. And I keep my promises that I make to you. And Adelina keeps her promises that she makes to each one of you and Sarissa and Laura and Robbie and everybody. So I've been talking for quite a bit. Any big takeaways or ahas right now, Adelina?
Before we go to takeaways, like one thing that I think about every time I hear you speak, Ben, is like, you've made it. You're doing great. Like, was it always that way? Can you remind us that all of this took work and where you actually came from? And the goal is like, everyone's in a different spot right now. And it's so easy to hear you who has made it say these things. And it can feel a little like, oh, but you're so far ahead.
Yeah. Here's what happens. When that goes through your minds, what you're doing is you're trying to validate your own personal results. Whenever you look at somebody else and say that person's pretty, that person's smart, that person has discipline, that person's rich, that person's whatever, you come up with reasons to validate your own spot in life. Remember that I was raised without money. I was raised on the food bank. I saw my mom steal groceries from a grocery store. I saw a heroin overdose before I was 10 years old. I had a marijuana plant in my living room that had Christmas ornaments on it. Like, I've seen some shit that most people don't see in their life, right? And then I got out and I started doing all the things that I thought was successful, and I spent a bunch of money and I got a bunch of credit card debt. And by 2008, I had 30, 60, 90-day lates on my credit, and I was missing mortgage payments, and I was negative 500,000 in net worth. And in 2010, I had nothing, zero. Everything, if you took what I had made and what I had owed, I had nothing, zero. I had worked for 12 years of my life to equate to being a big frickin' zero. So everything that I have today is because of the decisions I made to change my life over the last 10 years. And it hasn't always been like this. It's been ups and downs. It still is. I still struggle with a lot of things. I struggle with my health. My weight's like a freaking yo-yo. Like, I'm the biggest loser and the biggest gainer, both in the same year. Like who knew that show was on, right? I struggle in my own areas all the time. And it's just what the journey is about. And what I'm committing to is I'm committing to enjoying the journey and doing the best I can and making improvements every single year, because I don't want to wake up for 5 years and be in the same exact spot that I was today. That's the most depressing, scary thing for me. Adelina, I'm going to let you get a hoss from everybody and take questions. And I'm going to a meeting right now that I can tell you about. By the way, our $3 million domain purchase, that's in our NDA. So we're probably not going to share this call. So don't share that. Nobody knows yet. That's between us. But I wanted you guys to be the first to know, because that's a big freaking deal. But my next call is I'm bringing in a $20 million a year title company to our world that'll be part of Place Title. What that all means is, as I'm making these decisions, the value of Place continues to go up, because we're going to be a real estate company, a title company, a mortgage company, insurance company, all these things. And behind the scenes, when you guys are leading our sales division, I'm going out there and trying to build everything together. And I'm doing the best I can with technology and mortgage and all these kind of services. All going to come together, and we're going to wake up one day and everything the customer needs for their home is all be in the same place. Everything you need for your career, your life, and your retirement, it's all going to be in the same place. And if we do that, we succeeded. And if not, you guys can beat the crap out of me. Hope you guys enjoyed talking to me. Adelina, thank you for the invite. More than anything, thank you for making it so I didn't have to show up at 6:30 my time for Power Up. Like that was a super beneficial thing for me because I don't 6:30. Like I don't know what you guys do at 6:30, but I do not 6:30 in the morning. So thank you all. Adelina, you can lead AHAs and see what everybody else thinks, what their takeaways, and then send me a text and let me know if everybody's happy or if everybody just quit. Bye, Teresa and Casey and Jonathan and Spencer and Miss Stump and Kayla and Shelby. I appreciate you all. It's nice to see your faces. The coolest thing is to see faces that I saw 4 and 5 years ago still here, and to see people 3 or 4 years ago that were brand new agents are scared that are now making more money than they ever have and making investments and paying off their debt and living a good life. And I'm really proud of you all. So thank you for that. And Adelina, congrats on being the first one in Texas and really one of the first ones in our company to ever break 2.5 million in GCI. Nobody's ever done that. And they did it from scratch. We've never seen somebody do that from scratch in 5 years. Sarissa, Jordan, Laura, you guys are right on path with that. So congrats. You guys keep killing it. See you later.
All right. Thanks, Ben. Okay. Everyone who's still on, do me a favor. Plug this number into your cell phone. Oh, it's so quiet without his background noise. Whoa, what just happened? Okay.
Calculator number?
No, just cell phone. It's gonna be a cell phone number. Here's Ben's cell phone number if you don't already have it. It's 425-766-8695. 425-766-8695. And I just want you guys to think about he plugged in his morning. I'm sure he wasn't planning on doing this today, starting off the day with, just doing a power up. Right. And his next meeting is a 20 million revenue company. Right. So what an honor. So I think the best thing to do is share, if you had an aha or if something was spoke to you, text it to him. What happens when you get to the top, you guys, guess what you always hear about? All the problems, everything that you're not doing right, everything that's going wrong, blah, 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 right? I mean, just if you have any hopes and dreams for leadership, that's what's waiting for you. It's not that exciting, right? So there's very few opportunities where we get to share the good stuff. So if anything stood out to you, if any of this was valuable to you, text Ben. His cell is 425-766-8695, and whether he responds or not, he reads everything. So I think it would be special for him, especially as he's probably broke now after the $3 million purchase that he just did. We were joking yesterday that we might start a GoFundMe for him to have a nice Christmas. I'm just kidding, but we did talk about Chris buying a farm before this. So now he can live off the land, and he's made a deal with Ben to shoot a couple elk every once in a while, so that they can both live. Just kidding. The reality is, one thing that I love about all of this, and the longer you're here, you'll know this. The thing that makes Ben different from everyone else that I know as far as a partnership is he always delivers on his promises. And that's a big thing to me. I think it's a big thing to a lot of us, integrity, right? Being congruent with your values. And one of my values is I always want to do what I say I'm going to do. And I always want to be in partnership with people who do exactly that. And I can tell you, it's been a little over 5 years that I've been in partnership with Ben. It's lasted more than a lot of marriages, right? And he always delivers on what he said he was going to do. Now, sometimes it takes longer, right? I know that, we probably wanted health insurance, a year or two ago, and it was just a bear to put together, right? And yet here it is. So I'm committed to you guys, Jordan and Sarissa and Laura and Brandon and Amanda and Spencer and all of our leaders, Casey. We're all committed to you guys, just the same way Ben is committed to this big picture. So really, really lucky to have you guys. Whoever came up, I think it was Sarissa, with having a Texas Power Up every week. What a great idea to just see everybody's faces and see everybody just killing it out there. And man, what an honor, what a privilege it is to be in business with you guys every day, every week. This is our last Texas Power Up. We'll restart in January. And we'll see where that goes. Everybody have an awesome holiday. For those of you who are cranking it out, awesome. For those of you taking a little bit of time, take what you need and crank it out, because your 2021 goals are already starting. You guys have a good one. We'll see you guys next time. Thank you, and have an awesome time. Bye, guys.
Thanks, Adelina.
Thank you, Adelina.
Everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Bye,
Adeline.
everybody.